part 7 of The Last Little Cat. Do you remember last time? What did the little cat find? Did he find a friend at last? He found someone who gave him warm milk. It was so lovely, the loveliness of lovely warm milk. The little cat dipped its chin and its little black whiskers into the warm white milk. It drank and drank and lapped until its tired tongue could lap no more, and still there was milk in the bowl. The little cat had to rest its little tired tongue, but it purred in its throat for the milk, for the man and the milk, and a hitch and a halt came into its purr for the loveliness of the man and his milk. The man at the kitchen table watched the little cat at the big bowl of milk. At last the little cat could hold no more milk at all. He came toward the man, but there was still more milk in the bowl, and the little cat could not quite leave the milk. It sat down halfway between the man and the bowl, purring for the milk and for the man and the milk. The man laughed fondly at the little cat, and they were together in the quiet house. There wasn't another sound in the whole house, no other cats, no other dogs. There was just a warm kitchen, a quiet man, and a bowl of warm milk. Oh, there was a whole house, a house with rooms and many things in all the rooms. Later, all the things in all the rooms would have to be explored and looked at by the little cat, and sniffed at and touched and inspected. Later. Now, the little cat wanted to go only as far as the man. Now the little cat at last could leave the milk and walk to the man. It snuggled itself down on the floor between the feet of the man, as it always had done with the old blind dog. The man looked down at the little cat cuddled between his feet and made fond grumbly sounds in his throat. But from looking down at the little cat, the man looked up at the kitchen wall and at the calendar on the wall. "Hey," the man said aloud in a big surprise, and pointed to the calendar on the wall. "Hey, it's my birthday, little cat." "I didn't remember, and nobody remembered, but it was my birthday. But you came on my birthday. Then doesn't that make you my birthday cat?" "Why, yes, then you're my birthday cat." He reached down and scooped up the little cat and put it on his lap. "Is that a place for a birthday cat, on the floor between my feet?" "No." The man's lap was so soft and warm it made the little cat sleepy. The last little cat purred a sleepy song for the man and his milk, for the man and his lap, for the good man and his good lap. But the man jumped up and set the little cat down again. "I just now thought of it," the excited man said. "But if you are now my birthday cat, why then, shouldn't you have a birthday present on my birthday, little cat?" He picked up the little cat again and excitedly set it down before the bowl of milk. "Don't you worry and don't you fret," he told the little cat. "Just sit here beside your bowl of milk while I go and get your birthday present. I won't be gone long. It's just a run and a dash across 7 yards." The man ran out the door. The little cat sat beside the bowl of milk where he had been placed. Oh, once it went into another room, and once it started to go down to the basement to look at all the things in the room and all the things in the basement, but it rushed right back to its bowl of milk to see if it was still there, and to sing a little song for the bowl of milk because it was still there. He sang a purry little song for the loveliness of lovely milk, and a bowl full of milk all his own, in a house all his own. In almost no time, the man was back, for the man had simply run across the 7 backyards behind the 7 houses to the big kennel barn. Believe it, for this was the man who owned the kennel barn and took care of all those dogs. The kennel barn stood at one end of the row of 7 houses, and the man lived in the 7th house at the other end of the row of houses. And to the man, the 7 yards were hardly more than 77 and 11 big steps, and 77 and 11 long running steps back. While to the last little cat, lost in the night,
7 houses and 7 yards might just as well have been 7 oceans and 7 seas and 7 prairie plains. But the man did not come back alone. The man came back with a wire cage. Oh, believe it, inside the cage was the old blind dog. The man set the cage down on the floor in front of the last little cat. "This you might think queer," the man said to the little cat. "A dog as a present for a cat. But this I thought should be your birthday present on my birthday. Now that you live here in this house, and you will live here, I won't need to keep my poor old dog in all that noise and din of dogs in the kennel barn."
I'll show you. All my old dog wants is a little peace and quiet, and a little milk, and a little company, and a lot of sleep. But with me at work, my poor old dog would get so lonely in the house, I had to keep him in the kennel barn. But with you in the house, oh, I hope you two can get along together. My old blind dog should not be lonely anymore, and he'll have peace and quiet, and company, and a bowl of milk, and a lot of sleep. Then, after making this big hopeful birthday speech, the man opened the door of the wire cage to let the dog out. What do you think is going to happen? To show the blind dog to the little cat. But to the man's great surprise, the little cat walked right into the cage to the old blind dog. And when the old blind dog felt his little cat, the dog made nice old noises in his throat, stretched out his paws, and stretched down to the little cat. And the little cat walked right in between the paws of the old blind dog and tucked itself in under its woolly chin. The little cat purred, and the dog made nice fond noises in his throat. But the man stood shaking and shaking his surprised head. He had not known about the last little cat living with the old blind dog in the wire cage in the kennel barn, and he did not understand it at all. But one thing he knew, it was marvelous. Oh, believe it, it was marvelous. It was 3 times, 4 times marvelous in the 7th and last house. The last little cat had become a birthday cat, and though it had no birthday of its own, it had a birthday present all of its own. The old blind dog. And the old blind dog had the little cat, and they both had a man. They had a man and a house for their own, a good man and a whole house. They were home. The last little cat at last was home. And that is the end of the book. Thanks for reading it with me.